Over the many millennia of its existence, Stonehenge has been many things to many different people. Thousands of years ago, the mysterious plains saw hunting battles with giant beasts. And in the 20th century, the stones inspired equally dramatic events, particularly in the 1970s.
So Stonehenge Free Festival is like no other festival you've been to before. The idea, the premise is that everything is free. So if I was to bring some beer, we would hope someone else would bring some bread, and then we would trade. It was effectively this idea of we all live together, we have a great time. It starts with this wonderful innocence and the music that surrounds it and the whole culture. It's fascinating.
At the naive age of 19, I came out from London, where I was at university, to go to the Stonehenge Free Festival. I had no idea what to expect, and what I experienced was a really peaceful, gentle atmosphere where people were just helping each other. And the motto, I think, of the festival was, bring what you expect to find.
But as the number of festival goers multiplied, so did the problems.
It's said that in 1984, 100,000 people were camped in the field surrounding Stonehenge for up to a month. Vast amounts of vehicles, big tops, pyramid stages. It becomes a behemoth. It's almost uncontrollable.
What had started as a joyful and anarchic celebration was rapidly morphing into something altogether more dangerous.
Things get really, really ugly at the Free Festival. It's very, very sad. There's drug dealers from different areas. There's people who die in tent fires. There's petrol bombs being thrown about. There's stabbings, there's muggings. There's all these awful things that are happening. And the darker side of this lawless event was really beginning to rear its head.
As tensions started to build, the stage was set for one of the largest peacetime confrontations in modern British history. The next year, a convoy labelled as New Age travellers headed to Stonehenge, determined to set up the Free Festival.
I was an accident ambulance man in London for 6 years, and thought that with that training that I had something to offer this community.
The travellers' alternative lifestyle, a nomadic existence, was making them enemies, and a series of roadblocks stood in their way.
Certain newspapers refer to us as New Age travellers, hippies, and general wastes on the public purse.
11 kilometres from the stone circle, the long convoy of vehicles drew to an abrupt halt.
When I got out of the vehicle, suddenly I heard screams and glass breaking, and I looked up and see a squadron of policemen running down breaking windscreens with their truncheons. People behind me, myself and my family, decided to get in the vehicle and take a sharp right into the field to try and escape this violence.
The 600 travellers had been intercepted by twice that number of police. What happened in the nearby Beanfield they broke into has become infamous.
So this is the site of the Battle of Beanfield, which took place on the 1st of June 1985. I was at home with my father. I was a schoolboy. I was in my first year studying A-levels. And the first we knew of this event was when a helicopter flew over.
I'd explained of my ambulance work, and that was one of the first things that I was doing. First aid to very many people as a result of this first altercation.
As vehicles parked up in the field, police gave the travellers an ultimatum to leave.
There's a massive standoff, this quiet, this moment of nothing happening, and then it turns so nasty. It becomes quite literally one of the largest mass arrests in modern British history.
There was much driving around in circles, zigzags, trying to avoid police. Some vehicles were set on fire, and they went from this lower field into the Beanfield because of everybody had seen what was already occurring.
It was a bit of a shock to us. Of course, there's a slight feeling amongst us, I don't want to take sides on this. We're caught in the crossfire.
I saw many people getting injured. There wasn't anybody that escaped the field.
There were dozens of injuries across both sides. 537 travellers were arrested, though all charges were eventually dropped.
These people were arrested and attacked to teach them a lesson. And if only people had personal experience of people, they would find them to be proper citizens and not the folk devils that they were described as in the British press.
I think that both sides are partially to blame for what had happened. I think the police are always under a great deal of pressure, and they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Some travellers eventually won compensation for what happened that day. But the Stonehenge Free Festival had come to a chaotic and violent end.
The Battle of Beanfield represents one of the darkest episodes in British history. It's an awful episode. It's a moment we should all really know about and perhaps be a bit ashamed. It's not a good story with a happy ending.
After what happened at the Beanfield, Stonehenge was ruled off limits to everybody on the solstice.